Guys, welcome to the losers finals. But when you look at the names of these guys, you're like, how can they be losers? I mean, they're just elite of the elite. But yes, that's where they are. Wesley So is waiting. The winner of this matchup between Levon Aronian and Fabiano Caruana. If I'm not mistaken, correct if I'm wrong, Levon won the American Cup last year. And he's coming against Fabiano Caruana, who's looking to beat Levon and then take revenge against Wesley So in the final. But in the first, let's get to the first game of this match. Fabiano played with white pieces. I mean, just almost an equivalent game where suddenly Levon starts making mistakes. Knight b2. Computer, okay, says it's fine. Knight d2, protecting the pawn, and now a5 is a mistake. Bishop c3, knight has to move, and now e4. And suddenly, it turns out that this bishop doesn't have enough squares, so b4 is almost a must-play move. Bishop a1 takes, e takes d5, and suddenly white found themselves spin up a piece. E takes d5, rook c3, knight protects e1 square, so back, knight d3, knight r3, rook c3, knight d4, and now just the matter of technique here. So could have found some chances, especially with time trouble, but in reality on this level those guys can win it easily. And here, once Levon has once Fabi has this bishop on a1, and he's going to take this pawn eventually, he's going to play bishop e5, bishop d6, rook a2, rook a3, and let's see, rook b8, rook d3, b4, great move, rook a3, and now just not able to stop all the pawns. Bishop c3, king f2, king walks to e3, and now it's just all over for Levon. So, and we move on to the second game of this match, where now Levon plays with white pieces. As you can see by the pawn structure, it was Rasalimo with knight c6, bishop b5. To be exact, it was Rasalimo with g6, what Fabi played in the match against Magnus, what both of those guys did. So, we have rook 8 on the board, now h3, bishop f5, and now b3. So, the main idea of Rasalimo's structures is play against this bishop on f5. Bishop on g7 is usually fine, it has all this diagonal, but bishop on f5 is usually terrible. And it's also terrible in many cases, just because, let's say, bishop is on c8, pawn on d7, and sometimes, you know, black set up d7 is 66, and it's like, where's this bishop going? And if it ever goes to a6, I mean, it's like c4, and it's like, oh my goodness, I won so many games just because people didn't know theory on a good level, and then they just collapse quickly. So bishop c3, knight f3, and now d4. So I don't like d4 for many reasons, one of them being that you kinda block the defender. So d4, okay, what's the idea? Bishop f6, and bishop f6 is, by the way, a great move now. Rook f6, rook e8, so takes, and now takes the pawn. And the idea of bishop f6 is also to stop rook g7. If you let white play rook g7, it's all over. That's why d4 was such a bad move. I mean, immediate consequences. So takes, knight f5, knight c4, and now just all over for Mr. Fabiano Caruana. Didn't stand a chance against Levon, traded the bishop off, rook c1, all protected. This pawn is marching towards a7, and now knight c8, knight b5, a7, knight 7, it's a win. And also knight e4, knight c5, by the way, so it's all over. And it all came down to a last game. They made the game in game number 3, and now it was take it, winning at take it. So Levon plays with black, so far players will only be able to win with white pieces. And now, in an absolute equal position, rook h1 gives white great chances to draw the game. The only problem is c2 pawn, of course, if you take a look at this. So, what happened in the game was unbelievable blunders. So we have rook a2, and now suddenly, after takes, and rook f8, it turns out that white are in serious trouble. So king g3, rook b3, king g4, knight f3, king g5, and now rook f2. So black are basically going to almost get the skin and checkmate it. Rook b5, e5, rook b8. Now, of course, rook g8 is coming, king h6, rook f7, and now knight f5, knight g4 is a checkmate. There is no way to protect from both of them. a5, knight f5, rook g1, knight f5, rook f1, let's say try knight f5, rook f5, there's knight g4. So unfortunately for Mr. Fabiano Caruana, this journey is over. He is eliminated from the American Cup 2026, and now he is going to be preparing for the candidate tournament, which is going to happen in April. So in the finals, we will see Wesley So versus Levon Aronian. And as far as women's section goes, I want to quickly show you what's going on here. Alice Lee is going to play Carissa Yip. So Alice beat Carissa in the winners final, and now Carissa will try to take revenge in the grand final. So that's actually exciting because I mean, if you're familiar with chess, if you've been following US chess for a while, I mean, those two young girls are good friends as well. So you know, it will be fun to see their matchup. But yeah, all eyes are pointed towards Wesley and Levon. Let's see how it goes. I'll see you after game number 1, I guess tomorrow, then game number 2 on March 11. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. See you soon. Bye bye.